Hey guys, I'm Naya and welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I decided to do the full set analysis of Power of the Elements, since with the openings now we know what the set contents are going to be as well as the rarities. So I have everything put up over here on the screen as per usual. You know, we have the cool looking Duo Daddy presentation. So yeah, we're gonna go over the cards and sort of what my thoughts are, and let me know down in the comments what you think of the set. I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, which cards are you picking up, and if you're gonna be playing any of the actual archetypes coming out in Power of the Elements. Before we begin, I would also like to encourage you to subscribe and check out all of the social media, including the newly created Patreon if you want, of course. So, going over the actual set, I think this is more than likely like the strongest set of the year, with two such important archetypes being released. I have talked about both of those on the channel a lot in introduction and also counters, so you can check all of these videos out if you want. But overall, looking at the amount of support some archetypes are getting, and also like exclusives, imports, and just overall very good cards, we're gonna cover all of that, and I think truly the set is amazing. So going over the cards right now, we have the archetype, the fish, the goatee archetype. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced, but we have the secret rare synchro, and if we look at on the other picture, you're going to be able to see all of the other cards. And the archetype doesn't seem bad, but it also doesn't seem that great. The actual synchro effect, I think it's kind of nice, but I guess we'll just see if anything actually, you know, comes of it in the TCG, of course. And then we have the elemental hero stuff. So we're not going to go through everything, and it's sort of scattered throughout the pictures. But overall, just a couple thoughts I have. I think it's amazing to see Neospatians and E-Heroes getting support. Like, I love those decks. Well, decks, like those cards so much. And I just think it's amazing that it's not just hero stuff, you know? Like, you can just build Neospatian stuff. And I think this is like the coolest thing. And yeah, I like the fact that they're also getting like the elemental hero, the shining Neos wingman has no rare printing, so I think that's very nice. And then looking at the Splite stuff, overall the rarities, like with Splite and Tearlament, they don't really seem to be that expensive, like if we're looking ahead, because they don't have that many high rarity printings. So looking at Splite over here, you know, you only have the Splite Blue. I should start calling them Sprite. The Sprite Blue Secret Rare, and then you have the Super Rare in the Jet, and of course the spell cards, you know, have a couple higher upgrade, you know, when it comes to rarity. But yeah, I guess next to it we can also adjust theory and stuff. I think the Ultra Rare, the Irregular, is amazing. Like, honestly, it seems like a very strong card. And then down here, you know, looking at the Albas the Ashen, doesn't really seem that great, because the entire Dogmatica, Fallen of Albas, like everything is really cool, but I guess not every single one can be that strong. And then Tearlament stuff, Ultra Rare Rhino Heart I think is going to look really good, and other ones don't really have high rarities, which it would be cool to see all of them as super rare, honestly. Like, they didn't need to be commons, but you know. Then I think it's Vernalizer Fairy. I'm not even sure how those names are like pronounced over here. I read through them and they just seem a bit too complicated, so I know for like the translation was Vernalizer Fairies, and yeah, I haven't really looked into that archetype yet. And then you have a couple Gem Knight stuff, Melfi stuff, Vandret, like you just have specific support cards, also Suship, and then the Axo Sister. So I guess we weren't that surprised that it's a secret rare. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, I'm not against it, but it's just very obviously a money move, so you know, it is what it is. But the card itself, the Malfa or Martha, is amazing support for Exosister, but I'm not quite sure how the deck itself is going to function, because we don't know yet if we're actually going to be hitting a tier 0 format with Splite and Tearlament, and this deck was like the best one to counter it in OCG. And over here, we don't know how those two decks are actually going to perform, and consequently how Exosisters are going to perform. And then the next one, which is also an incredible support for its specific archetype, is Mathmech Circular. The card is so strong. Like, honestly, Mathmech is going to be a big threat moving forward, I think. And then down here, the other secret rare, we have the... I don't know the actual name. Like, it's a long Divincarnate or something like that. The Kuri... whatever, you know which card I mean, is Secret Rare, the red Secret Rare, which seems to be a good going second card, but it's very specific. So if your opponent actually like activates monster effects, then it's really nice, which inevitably they probably will in a combo deck or a deck that interacts with you on your turn. But it still feels a bit too specific. So I think it's a really strong card, but we will see how much play it actually has. And then the Earth Charmer, which is also a Starlight Rare. And since we're mentioning Starlight Rares, you know, DPE is going to be a Starlight Rare, which I think is going to look amazing. But the fact that we don't have a very accessible printing yet, but we are getting a higher rarity version, like, I'm not a huge fan of that, but at least it's something, you know. It's cool, but it's not that great in terms of price. Other stuff I don't think is that important. I think the level 2, the blue watery level 2 is really cool. More Vendread stuff. And then the tier elements, like I mentioned, you know, they have an Ultra Rare and a Secret Rare, and then another Ultra in Rhino Heart, and the Field Spell is secret as well. But overall, the archetype still seems like it's going to be more accessible than we imagined it's going to be. And then a couple punk cards. We have the Synchro, and then there's a spell card as well. And then Splice stuff, like the other Splice stuff, Elf, seems so good because it's so generic. Like, you can use it in so many different decks. I think it's going to be very useful. And then the Secret Rare XYZ, the effect is nice and all, but it feels a bit too specific. I don't know how much play it's actually going to be seeing. And then moving on to the other picture, we have the Scareclaw Link 1, which I think is nice because in theory it works with Char Brigade stuff, but I don't know if it's actually going to see play, if the mashup is going to see play. It's actually like a Beast Warrior, I think. So that's cool in terms of typing. And then even more hero stuff, like Naos stuff, things like that. And overall, I think Instant Contact is a really nice card because it is sort of an instant fusion. So I'm excited to see, you know, what people come up with. Malfi things, the punk spell that I mentioned, and then Ultimate Slay. So Ultimate Slay or Slayer is going to be a staple for sure. The card is so busted, and it's not once per turn, and you can't respond, and you actually get pluses off of the monsters that you send to the graveyard. Like, they even do something by themselves, looking at the Evo Twin Link and like Entes if you want. So the card honestly is like probably the best pickup from the set, aside from, you know, archetypes. This next spell card, I read it and it just confused me a bit. It has a lot to do with calculating and attack points, and I'm not a fan of that. So it's a random spell card though. Don't really, like, you know, you don't need to look it up. It's not that important, but it's funny. And then even more hero stuff, tier lament things. And then looking at the trap cards, the Exorcister one is really good. Like, it honestly seems really nice. And then the Secret Rare trap card, the Draco Utopian, I'm not sure what to think about it yet. I think it's busted, but overall trap cards aren't that great because trap decks aren't that great. Moving forward, I think Outlich is going to be very impactful and very strong, but I don't exactly see like this trap card being used a lot, even though it seems quite strong. So I guess we'll see. You know, I like the effect, but the fact that you need to like get rid of your monster to be able to banish theirs, I don't know, it feels a bit too much, but it is a counter trap card. So it has, you know, I guess pluses and minuses. And then to round things off, we have the imports and the exclusives as well. And I think the exclusives they're really nice. You have the obviously best one, which is the Ultra Rare Super Poly Target, and it's good. Like, I love the fact when a Super Poly Target actually has a good effect, it draws. And getting sent off of Nadir Servant, it's like amazing. And then the Moray of Avarice, like, I just like it when decks get those I guess not in archetypal, but you know, when a spell card that draws is useful in a specific deck. I just really like that. Like, Orchestrated Return is a good example. But this one, the only thing that bothers me is the fact that you have to get rid of a body on board to be able to draw. So I don't know how much play it's actually going to be seeing. But you know, and the Link as well, like, it doesn't seem that bad for like an exclusive. And then to really round things off, we need to touch upon the fact that they actually printed cards from Duelists of the Pyroxene in here. So no Ishizu cards. So we're gonna need to wait for those, but I really wanna know like in which set they're actually going to be printed, since we're not getting the Duelists of the Pyroxene. We do get the FTK stuff, so the Morphtronic FTK. I don't know, like, don't want to spend too much time on it. I just think FTKs are lame, like most of us do. So hopefully this doesn't catch on here in the TCG. And then the last card that I actually covered on the channel is Power Tool Braver Dragon, and we are getting that. So not that strong. Like, the card is nice and all. I don't know how much play it's actually going to be seeing. But yeah, I just think it's interesting that they decided to break that entire pack and just put things in here. So yeah, I want to know in which sets the actual Ishizu cards are going to come out, because that's like the thing we're most excited about, I think. And in conclusion, like, this set, like I mentioned, seems really nice. We are getting an important staple in the form of Ultimate Slayer. We do get the one that I don't remember the name, the Div Incarnate, the red one, which seems like a strong going second card, and we'll see how much play it actually has. And then obviously the archetypes. I love the fact Neospatians are getting support. I just adore that. Other than that, the super poly target, counter trap card, like, we're getting a lot of cool cards. Not every single secret there is going to be the most sought after, so you might be sort of disappointed opening a couple boxes, but still, this set is looking really, really good. I'm very excited for it, and I want to know your thoughts, of course, in the comments down below. Of course, if you like the video, like it, make sure to sub to the channel and check out all of the social media, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!